Oh, yes. Grand Rising, everyone. Welcome to the Daily Huddle on a day called Wednesday, right? In the middle of the week for health and wellness on this very special Christmas day. Happy Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, all the things that you celebrate. If you are here with us today, it is definitely a pleasure for us to have you because, hey, it's one of those days where people are together, they're with their family, they're slowing down, hopefully, which is one of the reasons why I picked this topic for today specifically. And if this is your first time here with us, my name is Steele Greye. I am your host on Health and Wellness Wednesdays. We have a myriad of topics that we speak about throughout the week, but today is about health and wellness. And I've been here for a couple of years. If you've never seen me before, I'm a singer. I am an engager of sorts, right? Connecting different people, singing in bands, creating art, hosting a podcast. These are the things that I do. So the huddle is perfect for me, right? So I'm glad that I'm here, and I'm glad that you are here on this special day. As I said before, when I speak about this day to people, or people feel this day coming up, it's an incredible thing how we all are prepared to slow down, prepared to be with family, prepared to travel, prepared to sit in one place and sip hot cocoa or eat pieces of cake or candy and all the things that are going on around this day. It's actually quite fascinating that over time we've built this muscle that allows us to take this day a little slower or a little more paced than the other days. If you don't have to work, if you don't have to go out to different places, this is an actual day where you can take it easy, which brings us to the actual topic for today. Now, I have had the very, very fine pleasure of being in Italy for a couple of years at a time, right? I say that to you because in Italy, they have an expression, and the expression is dolce far niente, which means the sweetness of doing nothing. Now, when I say the sweetness of doing nothing, I don't really mean nothing all the time. I mean more of being present in the moment or doing something that you are completely committed to doing slowly, right? I'm glad that I have the references from this culture, from being there, because when I was there, the one thing that I remember consistently, no matter where I was, is the pace that things were done at, which were very slow. They weren't driving too slow, I'll tell you that much, but we'll talk about that another time. We're talking about eating, we're talking about being at the beach, we're talking about sitting at a cafe, we're talking about going into a clothing store and touching the fabrics and moving slowly down the aisles. I guarantee you that when I was there, these things were so consistent across the board that it made me think. And when you talk about this particular sentence, dolce far niente, you think about it if you think about it in the sense of, if there was nothing around you at all, how would you keep yourself calm? What would you do to calm your particular self, just you? Now, when we speak about these concepts, I actually made a list, and there's different things that I want you to think about as I'm discussing this concept, right? So, um, two things just off the bat, right? I'm not a big TV watcher, right? I watch Netflix, I watch some things online, but I don't remember the last time I watched TV with any kind of consistency, right? What would happen if tomorrow you did not watch TV for the entire day, right? Would that free up some time for you to do other things? Would it be a little quieter in your house? Would it be something that gave you space that you don't normally have, right? Think about that conceptually. The other thing is eating, back to the Italians again. When was the last time you ate alone at lunch? You went somewhere specifically to be amongst the trees in the park by the water, and you just had like a sandwich and some chips and a juice or a soda, whatever you have, and you were there just being in the moment, where you were able to um, just sit there and allow yourself to feel yourself chewing, feel yourself feeling the flavor of these things that you're putting in your mouth, feeling the breeze, listening to the cars and the boats go by, being completely present, which is basically, in my personal opinion, a kind of a synonym for this Italian statement. The beauty of being calm and actually feeling everything around you in every given moment. Now, I will admit, I'm a New Yorker. So when I'm in New York and I'm walking down the street, there's 1,000 things going on at one time, right? For me to concentrate on just one as I'm walking down the street is a big task. It's a big task. But I will say, when I was doing yoga on a regular basis, 4 or 5 times a week, I would get up and do a 7 o'clock class, and it would make me so calm that when I came out of the class, all the beeping and the screaming and the screeching and the sirens, the volume had gotten turned down so low. I thought, wow, this is amazing. When your body wants to remain in a calm state, you can for as long as you want to if you concentrate on that. And that's where the rub comes for most people. So I wrote something down that I want to read to you, and this is connected to the Dolce Far Niente. This is this company. I'm trying to remember when I found out about them. I think you say Vosges. They're chocolates, and they sell some of the best truffles in the world. Right. So I wrote this down because I thought this was really, really a special group of words that capsulizes what I'm explaining to you, right? So this particular company decided that they're going to tell you or advise you, give you some suggestions on how to eat their truffles, right? So as you listen to these words, this is exactly what I'm talking about. And you tell me how you feel after I read these words. I think it's brilliant that they would put this and guide you in eating their truffles. So it says, eat the truffles in 2 bites. Take the first bite to get to know the truffle. Second bite to explore its aromas and nuances. After eating the truffle, you should take a breath and taste the air, which should have a lingering aroma from the truffles. I thought, oh my goodness, if you can do that, oh my goodness, you won the race. I mean, that's it. That's it right there. Taking in these moments and making sure that you understand what you're doing and why you're doing it, right? Now, take that into our everyday life and we think, well, what is it that I do that I can do so concentrating that um, I feel another level of presence or meditative state while awake, let's say. And there's another sentence, another Italian sentence that says, uh, La vita è fatta così, right? Which means life is like that. This is how life is, right? When you say this is how life is, again, back to the Italians, I always remember them saying, oh, è così. Ah, come no, è così. Like, this is how it is, and this is how it is. That's it. Also, when you're in Italy, you notice the buildings, the structures have been there for hundreds of years. You're like, wow, how come they've never, upgraded this or whatever the case may be? That was one of the things that I saw when I was in Venice. These beautiful buildings and these beautiful streets, and everything was so classically as it was. So the Italian brain, or those who are born there, they see things as they are more than how they want them to be, so to speak, right? And I said to myself when I was there, specifically eating with an Italian family in a city, in a town called Pescara, which is in the south of Italy, I don't know how to explain this as clearly as I want to, but being in this family's home, this is like 10 or 12 people that live in two houses next to each other. These meals literally were an hour and a half to 2 hours long, right? From the beginning to the end, it was so slow. The conversation was so deliberate that I remember it like it was yesterday. This was years ago, right? So this concept of being in the moment, right? So good for your wellness. So good because I've experienced this what I'm about to tell you. In the moments when we're in our most meditative state or when our most concentrated state, we have the ability to block out some things that may disrupt us more so than not, right? Imagine that you are sitting in a yoga position and you're in a class. I've done this exactly, so I want you to see if you can visualize this. And you're in a position and you're breathing in a medium way, and you're going through the position, and all of a sudden, you feel your body go into this state where you know you have control of your limbs, but you feel kind of buoyant for a second. You feel kind of like, wow, this is a really great space. And somehow in the background, there's a siren, because there's a siren about every 15 minutes in New York City. You hear the siren in the yoga studio. For me personally, I guarantee you that that siren was louder if I had just been walking into the studio than it was in that particular state. Somehow the volume goes down. Somehow you are putting that third in your mind as opposed to right and oh my goodness, what's that noise? And putting your finger on your ear or whatever. This is one of the benefits of that concept, right? And I wrote another note here. What was the one I wanted to think about? I read something about the concept of living without importance, meaning for 1 month, if you're at your job or your place of business, think about the things that you don't really need to be involved in. How can you take yourself away from something at your job where someone else could do it, but before you showed up just to show up to show that you were there? Do you need to do it? Do you need to be there? Can you take yourself out of something and give that away to somebody, right? Can you delegate a specific task so that you could have 30 more minutes of calm in your office? Could you do that, right? So when you're doing it and that thing happens, you're there and you're able to do what you want to do. You know, a lot of times in New York, and I think I have some friends that do this, they have their headphones on when they're walking down the street in New York City, right? And they're listening to music. I personally listen to music walking down the street very rarely. I do it maybe every couple days or whatever to listen to a song that I'm studying, but I enjoy the sound of New York City. I enjoy the craziness, right? And then I have to take myself away from it to get calm. Incidentally, an interesting concept. Every year in the summertime, there is a free yoga class in the middle of Times Square. That sounds really crazy, I know. But every year, the event pulls in thousands of people to put your mat in the middle of, or they would say, the center of the world, the craziest part of the city and maybe even the world, and do yoga. Let me tell you what happens. Every year, more people show up, and there's people around the perimeter because they block everything off, and they're just looking at people like this, like, wow, they're doing yoga in Times Square. And somehow, some way, the level comes down in Times Square because the collective energy um, pushes itself toward the calm. This is what I'm saying conceptually. If the collective energy has to be calm, then other people say, well, I'm not going to be screaming to the top of my lungs if everybody's calm, right? So that to me is a magical thing that you might want to think about. If you walk into a room and everyone's screaming, but you're calm, if that gets around to more than one or two people, soon the whole room is calm, right? So I'm asking you to do that within yourself because that's where the things happen within you, right? Or better said, the state of being is where creation happens. So wherever you are in that moment, that's what allows you to create. If you're not in the moment, you have a very small percentage of creating a piece or a moment where you have to yourself, so to speak, right? So this is an amazing thing. And what was the word? I was going to say a word. There's a word, an Indian word. I think it's called shunya, where you're taking everything to zero or nothingness, right? So, in this whole concept of this presentation today, what I would love for you to glean from it is it's not so much doing nothing as it is being fully present with whatever you're doing, right? When the Italians say dolce far niente, they're talking about a different concept within their culture, right? Just walking, literally, I mean this so wholeheartedly, just walking through Milan or walking through Venice or walking through Rome at the Fountain of Trevi with all the water. I can't explain to you what a completing emotion it is to be there and feel this mist of water hitting you in your face from time to time and all these people around looking at this incredible structure that's been there for so long, and people just sit there and they look at it and they throw money in and they make wishes, and it's so powerful. Not to mention the food in Italy when you are there and the way that they eat their food and the way that they prepare their food. I've said this before in another episode where when I was in Napoli and I picked up the pizza and the pizza fell because it was so light, and the way the sauce and the bread felt in my mouth, like it caused me in that moment to be completely present. It was amazing, truly amazing. So I believe you have the concept of what I'm speaking about right now. And although many of you may have not have had the experience of sitting in a seaside bar in an Italian cafe, watching people, or the aroma of the coffee, or the smell of the fresh cannoli, or the gnocchi, or the tomato sauce, this is something that can be done anywhere. I just specifically concentrate on the Italians because they have such a way of describing things. You know, when you're eating it, this buonissima, bellissima. You know, it's just so animated and so full of color. The way they describe things, even when they're not happy, what they say sounds so colorful. It's just I don't know how they do it. It's just amazing. So I like to open it up to anyone who wants to uh, chime in about this concept. If you want to talk about how you feel about it, or when you practice it, or maybe you have a suggestion of your own, please chime on in.
Italy, yes.
Italy.
When I was in Italy, I experienced what you've experienced there. I was in Venice, and they just the canals and the central square,
Right.
and they shut down their businesses to go home and have lunch with their families.
That's right. Yeah.
So their business could be close to like about, like you said, 2 hours, because they're making their pasta, they're having dinners with their family, they're having a conversation, and then they go back and open the stores whenever, and then they close up early as well.
It's true.
You know, it was amazing. It was just amazing. Just how they concentrate on that time, like you said, just doing nothing but being present.
Correct.
With what they're doing at the time. And when you talked about what did you say? When you talked about the chocolate, the truffle, I often tell even my clients, like, we always told to chew more, right? Chew our food more.
Correct.
So if you concentrate on the food from its beginning, from the seed to when it's being planted, to when it's being harvested, to the farmer, to the truckers that took it to wherever state or country you're in,
right,
to the store where you went to buy it, and just you connect with it, right? And then as you're doing that, being present in that moment there, you find yourself chewing and appreciating and being one with the food. So sometimes when I find myself eating too fast, I take myself there on that journey of the seed to the harvest, to the trucker that had to bring it here, to the stores, to the people that had to unload it off the truck, to me going as a consumer to buying it and then bringing it home and preparing it in whichever way that I do so I can consume it.
Like that.
And the other part, when you talked about should I do what you said, like doing not the importance, feeling of not importance. I'm actually working on that in my personal life, not really in the job setting. Like if I'm somewhere, I'm like, okay, I'm starting to realize now in my past few years that certain things I used to do not interest me anymore. And I'll go, like I went outside and night to test myself again to see if this is really, am I over this part of this doing these events in my life? And I'll be there, okay, why am I here? What else can I be doing that will serve me a purpose as opposed to being here? Because this right now doesn't serve me anymore.
Right.
So I take that aspect into my personal life to add towards my personal growth. And that's my PEACE.
I like that. I like that a lot. Wow. And of course, I had to put this image behind me today. This is one side of the Macy's building. And I put this very specifically and strategically because during this time of year, in a sense, being in New York City, you are forced to be more present because everything is colorful. There's windows on Fifth Avenue that people slowly go by and look at. The most magnificent windows, wow, that are right across from Burberry's, right around the corner from Central Park. They're like little mini movies. And you sit there and you look at them. And it's like this magical thing that happens. The kids go crazy. They're like, wow. And they're looking at it. And as you go down Fifth Avenue, when you get to where Rockefeller Center is, there's always like a light show on the left. And then the what is that other place called? Saks Fifth Avenue. They have windows. So in actuality, this time of the year is the perfect example of Dolce Far Niente. It really is. Now, this is my particular perspective on it. Obviously, some people tell you, don't go anywhere near freaking Rockefeller Center. It's a freaking bloodbath. Don't do it. Trust me, I understand that because you go and everyone's like around you. You can't move. People are pushing up against you. But it's magical if you look at it from a specific perspective, right? I tell you as much as every other New Yorker, I don't go there during this time with any kind of regularity, but I do go there once or twice to feel that energy. So thank you for saying that. And like I said before, la vita è fatta così. That's what they say in Italy. This is how it is. Sorry, this is how it is, right? This concept is a good concept for you to take with you, and I understand that people have a lot of things going on in their life, a lot of distractions. I do as well. When you spoke about the chewing, and I had said this many episodes back, when we chew our food, not only can we understand or make an attempt to understand where the food comes from, but the more we chew our food, the smaller it gets, the better our body takes it in. So all these are great, pluses overall, right? The more that we're present, the more that all these things are all together, right? So what do we do in the moments that are crazy? Well, I implore you to think about this concept, right? The dolce far niente. There's people on this live right now, and I'm looking at them, I'm looking at Stan, I'm looking at Rashida, and I'm thinking, wow, in the moments when I speak to these people, what they say and what comes out of their mouth is another example of dolce far niente. They're talking to me, I'm speaking to them, but the connection between us, when I think about it in my mind, that is a warm place to sit and to marinate, right? So this concept can be taken anywhere. There are some people, you look at them and they are not dolce far niente. I get it. I totally get that. But we know where to get that. That's my point. We know where we're going to be calm because we've done it over and over and over and over. I could tell you 10 places that I go to in the city that make me calm. I have them right in my head. I go there to do work, to look out at the water, to places I go to where I know There's not going to be anyone walking by, little nooks and crannies where I can. These are the things that I'm asking you to concentrate on more so in the new year than you did before, because we need the calm. We need the calm to be more productive. We need the calm to love deeper. We need the calm to keep our bodies in a fluid rhythm, right? And we can get that calm. We don't need to go take it from somewhere specifically, but we can connect to it first within ourselves, obviously. Um, who else? Anybody else have anything before we start to wrap it up?
Grand Rising, Grand Rising.
Rashida.
Season greeting. Thank you so much for the experience. Thank you so much for teaching us how to really have a good digestion once you start to really connect. Thank you so much, Ingrid, for the point well taken. And one of the things that when I'm listening to you speak, my dear brother, is that I went back to the food co-op.
Oh man.
I went back to the food co-op. One of the reasons that I did went back on that journey is that the connection that you have with your food at the food co-op is awesome. Awesome.
It is.
Because you know the beauty that this co-op have make it their duty that they are farmers from second and third generation who supply the food co-op. So we know where our food is coming from. We know that they are inspected. We know that they fire farmers once they know that they're being used in chemical. Are the pesticide and garbage that they put on our food. So it took me back to know that we are connected with our food, with a food co-op. And we have to be mindful, have that peace and quiet that we look for. It started from in. Always started from in. So I really love the concept. I appreciate you in this lovely day, Wednesday, lovely, beautiful day. And I take away that peace that you are speaking about. And that's one of the reasons that 10 years, almost 11 years ago, I moved away from the city. Because I was looking for that peace that I know that was in me, but I could not get it into Brooklyn, into here in the... I'm telling you, when I go back to Brooklyn at my old apartment that my daughter lived at, I was like, damn, all this I was going through, the fire truck, the ambulance, I'm like, wow. But eventually I say, come on, the peace is in you. Don't look for it outside. It has to start from in. But thank you so much for the concept. I really, really love your point. Thank you.
I appreciate it. And I'm going back to the food co-op too, by the way. I saw one of the people from the co-op and I was like, oh my goodness, and a whole thing happened in my head. So I'm going back too. I'm going to talk to you about that offline.
I'm retiring from the food co-op in January.
I understand that. I understand that. I was going to say something. What did you triggered me to say something? Oh, you were talking about you going back to Brooklyn, and it reminded me of that statement. And the statement is, wherever you go, there you are. You can't get away from that. You just can't get away from that. That's what it is, right? Once again, like the Italians say, la vita è fatta così. Wherever you are, wherever you go, there you are, right? So, Saurel, did you have something to say? I thought I looked at you for a second. Are you good?
Yeah, all good.
Okay.
Enjoying the sweetness of doing nothing.
Right. I mean, the concept is solid. It's a solid concept. So, my good people, this can be a hectic day for some people with family around, family traveling to you, cooking, eating, presents, whatever the case may be for you. And for others, a very calm day. But however you're spending your day, please take a couple moments to think about this concept, right? And the concept can go with you everywhere you go. And it can also combat some stressful moments if you use it properly, right? So I'm going to leave you and do our normal outro. I wish we could speak about this for another half an hour. I'll bring the topic back again. This is some of the things I wanted to talk about, but I want to make sure we're within the time limit. First of all, please love more. I was saying that about the Macy's sign here. It says love, and behind me, I don't think you could see it. On the bottom, it says give love, and over there it says love, and over here it says love. So all these kind of subliminal yet obvious messages during this time that we can take throughout the year. So please love harder, right? Please live outside the box a little bit more. Please move the body as much as you possibly can. Please take the time to laugh. So important. How many times you laugh in a day? My goodness, if you could write that on a sheet of paper, how many times did I laugh today? That should give you a little bit of a temperature gauge about what's going on with you, right? Please, mostly plant-based, give it a shot 1 or 2 days in a week and let me know what you think about it. Like, how does it make your body feel? How do you feel internally? Are you lighter? Are your thoughts lighter, right? Also, sleeping as much as you possibly can. They say we should sleep 7 or 8 hours. Give yourself a gift of sleeping 10 hours one night. Stay in the bed longer just because, even if you can't sleep anymore, and let the body rest, right? Also, stress less. Holiday times are tricky for a lot of reasons for people. I send you my blessings and warmth with that because everybody has their own personal thing, but give it a shot to just stress less during this time. Take more breaths. Leave your head on the pillow a little longer so that you might be able to feel a little more calm. You deserve that calm, of course. And as always, check yourself before you wreck yourself with the thoughts that may be a little toxic for your body. Push them out. Let them be what they are. It's been great being with you on this wonderful day. I love it. And I hope that all of you have the best day possible. But before you do that, just decide that this is going to be a spectacular day. And remember the concept, Dolce far niente. Enjoy your day. Thank you.
Thank you, Chase. Merry Christmas, everyone. Family, peace and blessings.
Enjoy your day.